We should be live. Do you see anything?
I see Stephanie. I see.
Hello, everyone.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Think Tank Tuesday with Brad and Nicole filling in for Paul this week. He is out and about, hanging out with some new clients down in Florida. It's snowing up here, so thanks, Paul. No, we hope you're doing well down there and having a good time, and we're happy to be here, happy to fill in. My name is Brad. I'm a digital performance manager here at Potrats. And
I'm Nicole. I'm the marketing communications manager at Potrats.
And we're going to be talking to you guys today about the 3 biggest challenges of Facebook Live. And so I got to apologize up front. I'm probably not nearly as engaging as Paul usually is, or as well dressed as he usually is.
But that's okay, because he has a man bun to make up for it.
So I'm going to do the best I can, try to keep you guys focused and energized and entertained. We've got some really cool tips to share with you today. I wanted to have Nicole on with me because we did a Facebook Live marathon, a Christmas-themed Facebook Live marathon on Friday as a company. It was 4 hours long. It was super great. She organized
You should have
the
seen
whole
it.
thing.
We shared it 81 times.
I'll be a little bit bummed if you didn't see it, but
I
you
know.
can go back and watch it again.
Yeah, Brad was singing for a good 45 minutes,
Oh my
too.
God, I was, wasn't I? Sang Christmas carols with Allie. She's a graphic designer of ours, and she's super talented, so really thankful to her for being up here with me. But we had a great time, but we also learned a bunch, right?
Yes, we did.
And so we want to share some of the challenges that we think brands like us might run into with Facebook Live, and that could help you guys out doing your Facebook Lives coming up, because it's still kind of a new thing. It's been around for a little bit, but we're seeing a lot of brands catch on now, and some of them are starting to do it really right. So we had we've been seeing like the mannequin challenge video. So those have kind of blown up, and brands are doing them, people are doing them. The NFL is doing them live on their countdown show, so that's pretty cool. Got brands like Taco Bell doing. They did their Christmas dinner. They Facebook Lived that.
With BuzzFeed, they actually have one of those Facebook Lives where they split the screen into 4 different sections, and they have, like, for example, if you're a 90s kid, what's your favorite Rugrat character? And you can like it for Tommy Pickles, or love it for Chucky, or laugh for Phil and Lil, and that kind of stuff, just for engagement, which I think is really awesome. While you're doing a Facebook Live, you can't boost the post, so you can't promote it while it's actually going on. So that's a way to promote engagement and get more reach when you can't put paid advertising behind it, which I think is a really good idea. And another brand that actually does an engagement type of Facebook Live would be, I think Allie mentioned Entertainment Weekly. They do their cast interviews. So what I've seen works a lot better is when you have multiple people in Facebook Lives, you can tag those people and get more reach. Like Brad and I will probably be tagged in this one, so we'll reach 3 times the people because it's on Paul's Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll be on mine, and then it'll be on his, and it'll be great.
Yeah, and that's part of some of the things I think we'll share today. We've got some tips on how to keep it engaging and get more people engaged as it's going on. So like not even just leading up to the Facebook Live, but what's happening once it's already live. I think anytime you can have like a wow factor, like a new product unveiling, or man, if there was like a mountain bike competition and there was a Facebook Live, maybe like a run through, I think that'd be pretty cool. I'd watch that for sure.
Yeah, and definitely that you can add to your ad copy above the video to get people's attention. But even something like one of the fitness brands that I follow, they had a guy deadlifting a car, which is not something that you see every day. So that definitely catches your attention and is like, holy crap, why is he deadlifting a car? Yeah. And then it makes you want to watch it and join the conversation with everyone else that's watching it too.
Cool. All right, so I guess we can probably start getting into our challenges, right?
Yeah.
So one of the biggest challenges of Facebook Live is that it's live. So you can't have someone like Kurt, a member of our amazing video team who's helping us out today, produce it afterwards, polish it up, make it look nice. You've got to be really engaging live, and you got to find ways to stay engaging live, and present yourself well, and find volunteers, and also just deal with unexpectedness. That's an issue that you're going to run into, and so those are all challenges I think that you run into, and the fact that you don't have the production afterwards to clean things up, so you've got to polish it up as much as you can and plan a little bit. So what do you think, how do you get people to volunteer? Like we did this holiday marathon, but it was 4 hours long. They couldn't just be the same 2 people up here the entire time. We had to have different segments and keep people engaged. So what did we do to get people involved?
A lot of, like our Facebook Live from the holiday marathon, we actually had a lot of people who don't normally volunteer for our Facebook Live videos, which I thought was really awesome. And a way that we did that was just making it a fun environment to want to do that in. So Haley and Ashley, for example, in our holiday marathon, they did a segment on the top 10 best Christmas movies, I think it was. So they went home and they made their little, I think they called them, I don't know, some kind of cards, and they held them up, and they spent so long decorating those things, but they made it fun, and they started a conversation with the audience. But in order to get people involved in it, we had like giveaways. We were giving away free massages, not holiday grab bags, but one of our VPs, Samantha, was giving away Google goodie bags with like water bottles in them, and we all love water bottles here, so every person whose name got called had to come down and grab them. So that was a reward basically for volunteering for it. Aside from rewards, I think just essentially making it super fun, and like I told people that they could bring a partner down if they wanted to work with someone, so it's easier to do a Facebook Live video when you have someone to talk to instead of just talking to yourself. But that's one of the two of the ways that I got people involved for that.
Yeah, we did the massages too. I think a good thing that's going to keep people engaged is not so much just being stationary, but like using props, and we've done that quite a bit in the past, even if it's just like handwritten signs.
Yeah.
I got to bring my guitar in. I love playing the guitar, not so much in front of people all the time. But that, that was fun, and it's just kind of like an interesting, different thing.
Well, you did play the guitar in front of 12,000 people, so congratulations, Brad.
Great joy.
Yeah, but we do use a lot of props. If you did watch our holiday marathon, I put a huge tree right here in this general area, and then we had a bunch of little flowers.
All sorts of stuff up there.
And whatnot. Just like something to catch the viewer's attention, just make them ask what is going on and make them click on the video. Another thing that I've done in one episode of Paul's podcast was I took my little headband, and I was just wearing it, and he brought me on, and I was wearing this, so it probably looked pretty funny to people who were scrolling through their news feed if they saw a guy really dressed up nicely and just some girl with Santa ears on. So just
keep it interesting,
something like that.
Keep it fun. Don't do a lot of selling, right? I think it's more about it's engaging.
Well, there has to be like a bottom line to your video, but don't make it overbearing. Like, you don't want to hard sell someone through Facebook Live. You want to make it fun and entertaining too.
I like a lot, like Paul, who usually does Think Tank Tuesday. he's doing these all the time. And what I really like about his is he's always on the move when he's doing them. So the movement, less of the stationary, and just getting out. And it's just a fun way to kind of get around. And if you're having the background change pretty frequently, it's going to keep people engaged, I think, and capture some interest. For the people that kind of get glaze-eyed like me after about 30 seconds.
Yeah, definitely. He's in Florida right now, so he has a lot of Facebook Live videos right now of him with our team down in Florida meeting with clients. So I think that's really a change of scenery, since a lot of his are either with this background or sometimes he does them around the office and he'll ask us funny questions.
Yeah. He'll just like show up and be like, "You're live."
He'll show up with a camera and just be like, "Hey, we're live. Say something funny." So that's one of the ways that you can get people engaged.
That creates organic moments.
Yeah.
Too,
So that's really good.
Yeah. One last question I had for Nicole too is, how long do you think Facebook Live should be? Like, what's a good number to start out with to shoot for?
A lot of people think that Facebook Live should be less than 5 minutes, but from analytics and experience with it, it is ideal for the video to be over 15 minutes or at least 15 minutes, because looking at the numbers, at least, or over half the population checks their Facebook at least once every 15 minutes. So if you keep your video over 15 minutes, everyone who's checking their Facebook every 15 minutes will get that notification, and they'll look at your video. So you're catching a very large audience if you keep it above 15 minutes long. But that's also, if you're targeting mostly millennials, they'll want to see a video that's around 5 minutes. But for the majority of people, just keep it above 15.
Good insight there.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes the first thing, like, to think that we should, I think we've got a commercial coming up. But
we got an extra special
sometimes
commercial.
you think, I just want to do 5 minutes, but when you look at the analytics, and you might see that 15 minutes or a little bit longer form is better. So it's always best to look at the data. That's what I say, and let the data tell you what you should do. So I think we're going to take a little bit of a commercial break here, and Nicole's going to introduce the Paul's podcast.
Yeah, so I'm sure some of you have seen that every Wednesday we release a podcast for the growth mindset. Paul interviews different entrepreneurs every week, and they're actually really, really interesting people, and they have really good insight on stuff. We're releasing one tomorrow about content writing, so if you're interested in that, stay tuned for that. So I think that's really important. And you can find it on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio is a new one too, and Google Play. But if you go to paulpotrats.com/podcasts, then you'll be able to find the link to all of those places and download it on your favorite platform.
So paulpotrats.com/podcast.
Yes, sir.
That's where we got to go.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So we hope you tune into that. They really are very helpful. And I think, content writing is pretty big right now in the agency world.
Definitely.
I mean, advertising is one thing, but you got to have engaging content for the organic visitors, and for when you're, just sending people to landing pages, you got to have engaging content on that landing page.
Yeah.
And, it's a variety of forms now. It's the
Yeah.
Facebook Live, it's the video, it's blogging, as it always has been, but now it's all over the place.
And they talk about the difference between, like, writing specifically for SEO factors and writing for your visitors on Facebook. So there's a huge difference behind that, and you can find that.
It really is an art, right?
It is.
Like, there's the science, the
Crafting.
SEO stuff, but then,
so you have to find
it's really obvious when something is just written for SEO, so you have to be good with the art part of it, too. You got to be good
for
at it.
sure.
Cool. All right, so let's hop back in and talk about Facebook Live. We'll leave content for another day, I think.
Yes.
Challenge number 2. How do we get people to tune in? Initial thoughts right off the bat.
Something funny. I think having something on screen that's going to catch your eye, kind of like, think of it as an image. When you're scrolling through your news feed and you see something with a bright color, or you see something funny like me with Santa ears on, or you're watching one of our team members try to catch a lizard in Florida. I think that's one of the most recent ones. I think that definitely creates interest, so that's what is going to pull people in. And also, after they see that initial image or snippet of video, they're going to look at the ad copy and see what the video is all about. So those two things combined are going to get people to click on the video and see what you want to tell them, basically.
So we did something really cool for our holiday marathon Facebook Live. You want to go into the shares and the donations? How
Yeah.
we did that?
So what we thought was a really good idea is to donate for every share that we got during our Facebook Live marathon. We would donate $1 to a different charity every hour. So that way, if one person shared it the first hour because we were donating to the ASPCA, they could also share the video again for hours 2, 3, and 4 for different charities. So they wouldn't feel weird sharing the same video 4 times in a row. So it got per person, they could share it 4 times, which increased our reach and also increased our donations to those charities. So not only were we doing it for a good cause and we pulled people in that really liked those charities, but we also we were doing it basically out of the goodness of our hearts.
Yeah.
For
And it
Christmas
kinda-
spirit.
Like with the BuzzFeed too. I mean, it's using elements that Facebook already has in place. So like the share button, they've added the reactions, they have the like as always. So using those kind of things that are already there to in kind of a different way to get people more engaged and get more people watching your Facebook Live when it's already live.
Yeah, and
sounds
I think
pretty
one of the greatest parts of Facebook Live is when you're watching it, you have those reaction buttons, and you could just press them over and over again. So if someone says something funny, you can click the ha button, and we'll see it across the screen, like even on replays, and other people will see you doing that. So it influences them to do the same thing and have another reaction. So you're getting more engagement too.
Definitely helps to have someone behind the scenes. Nicole's usually behind the scenes reading back comments and making sure that we get engagement from our audience too, which is definitely going to help keep people engaged that are already on. And I think what's really cool, a lot of times like Dan will be there too, we'll have a little team of people using other forms of media to promote the Facebook Live while it's live, like live promotion using it on Instagram and Snapchat, and also just on their personal Facebook accounts, like, hey, this is happening now, like, just taking behind the scenes pictures, sharing that out, and then you can kind of leverage the networks on those other platforms to drive people back into Facebook.
Yeah, so I've noticed Paul's main platform is Twitter. He has a lot of his followers and people that are interested on Twitter, but he gets also a lot of engagement on Facebook. So what we've done is kind of blended the two together. So when he does a Facebook Live, we tweet about it and we send him to the Facebook link. And from that, we've seen a huge spike in viewers. Not only that, but also engagement, whether it's when it's live or afterwards. So driving them from Twitter to the Facebook, you can not only get page likes from there, but you can also get the engagement on the video or the views, whether it's while they're watching it or while they're watching it live or like after the fact.
Right. Yeah, I think if you have like the team and the infrastructure in place to do like a live tweet kind of situation, that would help out Facebook Live quite a bit. So, the Twitter news feed is going through really quick. It's way quicker than Facebook's, I think.
Yeah, and you can tweet every 5 minutes too, and nobody would think it was annoying unless they had one follower.
That's true. Yeah, so you could get a whole team behind you tweeting on their own accounts, and it'll really help things out too.
Yeah.
I think one thing that would be kind of cool, and I think we do this too, is after the fact. So you've done the Facebook Live. It was really great. You had a good time. You got people to engage. But to kind of get the word out there about future Facebook Lives, you maybe do like a summation post, or promote the Facebook Live that you already did in some way, whether it be putting some money behind it and boosting it as a promoted post or something like that. So you can kind of an investment in the future of your Facebook Lives and getting more people.
Well, for example, what we did with the holiday marathon is we put, I think it was $20 behind it just to reach a larger audience. And it's not even just to sell anything. It's just for brand awareness and promotional purposes, just so we could reach that larger audience and get people to notice us as an overall brand. So putting some money behind it isn't a terrible thing, but you can also do, for brand awareness, more organic posts. Like every Wednesday we'll be putting out a Facebook Live about A, B, and C, just so people are prepared for it. You can do it at the same time every week, the same day every week. That would be my only thought on that, I think.
Like that.
Yeah.
I
I think we're going to talk more about an extra special commercial for you, as per Kurt's request.
All right,
Yeah.
let's get into it.
Okay. Power words. Oh, this is my favorite. Okay.
Go on ahead.
You don't know anything about power words?
I know about some power words.
Power words are great.
Yes.
They can actually, it's in the title. They can help you drive conversion. One of the main things about the vocabulary that you're using in ad copy or whether it's writing a blog article, is your choice of vocabulary. So using power words and your choice of words can really affect your audience, and having them click on the button, the call to action button, and drive them to the page to fill out a form. That's one of the main things you should be concerned about on your website and on your Facebook. So power words that drive conversion is one of the best things that you can do for your business. So you should really go to that link and download it and get all the fun facts about words, because they're important.
All right.
And we have a webinar about it too. So that's cool.
That's really great. Thanks, Nicole.
No problem.
I hope you guys tuned into that because it sounds really valuable. I might even have to tune into it myself.
Yeah.
All right. So how about we move on to challenge number 3?
Yes.
All right. So challenge number 3 is, how do you know they work? So you've done the Facebook Live. You've promoted it. You had a really good time. You've promoted it after the fact. What are we looking at to see that they're working on Facebook?
On Facebook, what you can do to check is in your analytics, you can look at the relevancy score and the engagement percentage, or just overall engagement compared to your regular videos versus your Facebook Live. So I looked at the old Think Tank Tuesdays that we used to do were just plain produced videos that we would upload to Facebook, and our average engagement percentage was like 1% or less, and we reached a smaller audience, so we only reached, I would say, like 5,000 to 8,000 people. When we started doing our Facebook Lives, we got 100% more engagement, so we're at like the 5% range, and we have also reached a ton more people. We've reached audiences basically above 8,000, 15,000 organically, just by sharing and having that engagement factor. So Facebook Lives have actually helped a lot because you can just spark conversation with your viewers. And I think that's super important, because if they like your video and they like what you're talking about, they'll share the video. And since the average person has about 300 Facebook friends, you've reached 300 more people once that person shares. So I think that's a really awesome way to see how you've done, is engagement and the amount of people that you're reaching.
Yeah.
And in terms of the relevancy score on Facebook, it's one of the factors that you can look at. We used to have a relevancy score of maybe like 2 or 3, but now for our Think Tank Tuesday videos, we have a relevancy score of 8 or 10. So I think that influences how many people are seeing your ad and how they rank it in terms of the selling process, or the bidding and selling process that they have in the back end of Facebook.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a really good point, Facebook. I mean, we look at quality score a ton in AdWords, but I think the relevancy score, which is pretty similar, although it's not keyword based, it is a quality score of sorts in Facebook, and I think that's really important. So it's not just about getting the clicks and the reach, but how relevant is my content? Are people enjoying it? Facebook has their, what is it called, Edgerank, and nobody knows what goes into it.
Yeah.
It's their algorithm. I think about it as a diamond. Like, a diamond has so many edges, and so the more edges a diamond has, it gets much prettier. So, if you can make your page and your content as engaging as possible, it's going to get more edges as people engage with it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat. I have actually a few things I might share on that. I've been doing a little bit of analysis in website metrics, coming from the Facebook channel, and then also how it's influencing other channels like referral traffic and organic traffic coming to the website. And what I've found that's pretty cool, at least on the Facebook side of things, it's not going to drive a ton of traffic during the Facebook Live, but you don't really want it to do that, right? You want to have people on Facebook and engaging with you. But what you do see is, when looking at the social media channels later on that night, you're going to get a nice boost in traffic, and also the following day. So that's going to follow with, I think, some of the decay of the post on Facebook. But what's neat about the traffic that I've seen, at least, is when you compare it to site averages, it's much higher in terms of engagement, bounce rate, session duration, pages per session. People are on your website and they're coming from Facebook, but they're engaged more than I think the average Facebook user, and just much more. I mean, the bounce rate was surprisingly low, which was really neat, and I found that to be a bit of a welcome surprise when I looked at that. And then another thing that I found is that you can see the same thing kind of translate over into some of the organic channels, which is pretty neat too. So you can see an influx of traffic coming directly, not directly after, but within the hour after Facebook. So sometimes people will be watching the Facebook, and then they might Google you, or just type you right into their browser after you share like a nice podcast link that people should go check out, paulpotrats.com/podcast. Check that one out. Yeah, see, and you can go in and you can see that that's going to translate to increased traffic on some of the other channels. It comes like a little bit after your Facebook Live, and it also is much higher quality traffic. So the more that you do it too, it's going to catch on. You're going to get exponentially more traffic over time.
Yeah, and especially if you have resources that are related to what you're talking about in your Facebook Live. Like, for example, I follow BuzzFeed a lot, and when they post a Facebook Live about like who your favorite Disney princess is, and I'm engaged with that, then I might Google or I might organically search for BuzzFeed.com and then go on their website and see if they have any quizzes that I can take on what Disney princess am I, because I want to know. You get lost in the black hole of BuzzFeed. They are certainly good at making stuff that makes that happen. Yeah.
Cool. I have a special tip. That I think I want to share.
Yes, share it. I know what it is.
She knows what it is because we've been working pretty closely on this lately. So Facebook lets you now make retargeting lists, so you can build them. So typically, you could upload a list of emails, or maybe you could build one off some links on your website. Some really specific lists, so they're segmented out. They should be good for retargeting. But now you can build them on engagement. So you can build them on page engagement. So people who like your posts, like your page, comment on your things. You can also build them on video views. And what's really cool about the video one is you can go in and select which videos you want to build the list from. So you can go in and just select your Facebook Lives, build a retargeting list based on people that have tuned into your Facebook Lives, and say like maybe liked your page as well, and you can get more specific in how you're targeting on Facebook. People have seen your branding content, build that retargeting list, and then use that to market them down in the lower funnel with some lower funnel creative. So I thought that was really neat. It's a pretty new feature. If you're not doing it yet, I encourage you to check it out. And certainly if you have any questions, you can always leave a comment, and we can walk you through it a little bit or talk a little bit more about how it works. And what we're seeing, definitely seeing better engagement. It's relevant. I'm also seeing them build a little bit more than a typical website list would. And I like that because it's helping me get a little bit better frequencies, which I like on my retargeting list. So overall, I think it's really cool, and it's something that Facebook just came out with, and I would look into it.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts about retargeting, is getting to see the amount of people who watch your videos, and you can put that all together. And we've actually just created a list of the people that have watched our think tank videos, and I think it's really cool that we can just retarget them with a different message and see if they're interested in that, and just kind of see like what parts of our brand that they're interested in. So I think that's a really cool factor of like the back end of Facebook that you can start using for your business.
Yeah. And then they've got such great ads, right? We've been using Canvas ads a bit. So
Canvas ads are exciting to me because you can make them yourself. You can make them all pretty. You can use videos, pictures. Lately, I've been seeing a lot of really good ones from like clothing companies. You can do this cool thing where if your image is too wide for the camera screen, if the person turns their phone side to side when they're watching it, when they're looking at it, you can actually see different parts of the images, so it'll turn with the phone. That's how you explain it, but I think that's really cool. So Canvas ads are my babies.
Yeah, so we've been doing a lot of work with those, and it's kind of cool. It's a way to, you can maybe include some of the video, like maybe a portion of the video that you did a Facebook Live with, and then underneath you. It's a way to get your services next to some more engaging content. So it's just neat, and there's scrolling, and there's flipping, and you can have a form in it if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, that's cool. So there's a lot of, variety of things you can do on Facebook. And I guess the point of this challenge is that you just have to look into your metrics and see, is it working for you? We know it's working for brands and it's working for us, so it can work for you. It's just a matter of going in and finding out, and if it's not, then just making some tweaks on, maybe how you're targeting and using some of these new assets available to us that, Facebook's making it easier to target people who like videos on Facebook.
Yeah, And I think one of the biggest factors for Facebook Live is just looking at your audience. That's like the main thing you want to look for. Experiment overall with what time frame you want your videos to be, because if your audience doesn't like 20-minute videos and they like 5-minute videos, then you'll find that out pretty quickly with the statistics that you can get from Facebook. So just overall looking at the likes, dislikes of your audience will not only help you narrow down what kind of Facebook Lives that you can do, but it'll help you overall with like the content that you can produce for them too. So yeah.
Really good points there. It's all about the audience on Facebook.
Yes.
All right. I think that about wraps up our 3 challenges, right?
Yeah.
I think we addressed those pretty good. Maybe you can let us know in the comments if you want, if you want us to go into depth on anything more. And then I think I've got a few closing notes that I wanted to talk about. I think a lot of times when something comes out like this, people might think it's a fad, and it's not going to last that long. Like Twitter was big for a while. Twitter's having some trouble now, even though they started like live streaming football games and stuff. So I don't think this is a fad though, and there's a couple reasons behind that. One thing I read recently was that Facebook is focusing a lot on their video only feed now. All right, so they're actually going to start paying some media companies. It's probably going to start out with news agencies to produce content for it. And then they're going to try to drive traffic to this video-only page. So I think this Facebook Live was a precursor to that, and that's not happening yet, but it will be happening soon. So that's pretty neat. And what I think Facebook is trying to go to is more of even like a Netflix entertainment kind of model, where eventually you might have to subscribe to look at the video-only newsfeed. They're going to make it that enticing. You can see your friends' Facebook Lives. You can see some content from your favorite media companies. And I think they're going to try to position themselves to compete a little bit more on video and entertainment rather than just like the statuses of what your friends are doing. So they're going to take it to that next level. So that's a little bit of a hypothesis that I have. Don't know if it's going to come true or not.
I can see that happening.
I don't think I'd be surprised if we started seeing NFL games and other sports events streamed on Facebook instead of Twitter coming up next year.
Yeah, I can see that happening. Yeah. Remotes already have the Netflix button on them. I feel like another button for Facebook would not be far behind.
Can't be far off. I mean, they've already got all the people, billion plus users.
Yeah.
And they're really promoting heavily the Facebook Live. I mean, they've got commercials running for it. They don't typically have a ton of traditional media running when they release a new feature, but they're pushing Facebook Live really hard. And I think the video only feed is going to be a really important thing in the future. And there's definitely going to be some cool stuff on it, because the article that I read did say that they're going to be paying some companies to produce content for it. So it remains to be seen who those companies are and what the content's going to be. But I'd keep your eye out on that, and just keep in mind that Facebook Live it's a little bit more involved. You still kind of need a video team in the background to help you out, but you don't at the same time. And you can just open it up on your mobile phone. You can only do them on your mobile phone, right?
Facebook Lives?
Yeah. I believe you can only do them from the Facebook app. You can't do them from desktop. So, if you're out and about, maybe, procuring some new materials, if you're, like a carpet store, I mean, there's so many different things you could do. The newest Louisville Slugger comes out, you can kind of go, or like if a golf club Facebook Live came out, like if TaylorMade started telling me about their new driver designs on Facebook Live, I'd be really psyched on that. Maybe even getting like one of their pro athletes to be on the Facebook Live too.
Yeah,
I think
that'd
there's
be
going to be a
fun.
lot more of that in the future. So it's not going away, and I think you want to try to jump on the train pretty soon here if you haven't started trying. And that's the biggest thing, is just get started, and you're always going to find places that you need to improve a little bit. But just address the challenges that we talked here today and do the best that you can. And we're always here if you have any questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that about wraps it up. I hope we did okay filling in for Paul today.
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
Please do.
We know we're not as good as Paul.
I definitely know that I'm not as good as Paul. I'm working on it. We have Toastmasters here.
We do.
We should do a little plug for Toastmasters.
Okay.
I'm doing it. We have Toastmasters here. I believe it's every first and third. Justin or someone, please comment if I'm wrong. First and third. I know it's every other Thursday. I don't remember if it's the first.
It's the first and the third.
First or third Thursday of every month, 8:15 here at Potrats in Schenectady. And we've got a little Toastmasters group, and it's been growing every day. We've got a few people in the company that are a part of it. We've got people outside the company that come, all sorts of different people. And it's just about improving your public speaking. It's just about getting up and getting over that fear, working on the pauses, working on the ums, working on the crutch words. And it's really fun. We've got table topics. You just kind of get put on the spot, and that's really funny. So I think, if you want to come check out Toastmasters, certainly leave a comment. We can get back to you on some more information there, and it'll translate into better Facebook Lives. I can tell you that right now.
We do have a Facebook comment.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
Can we hear it?
Ooh.
Or do we have it up here?
Do you think businesses are using Facebook Live properly? From Eric.
I think yes and no. I think some businesses are using it properly, and I think probably some aren't. The improper, what I would think, is that there's just not enough going on the Facebook Live. So maybe they're just not being engaging enough, or they're not doing enough to promote it beforehand, because then you're just doing a Facebook Live and you might not have anyone tune in. As a part of the content of the Facebook Live, that's just a matter of how good of a speaker you are, and how much pre-preparation you put into it in terms of making some props, doing a little pre-planning. Of course, it's all going to be organic live, but there is some pre-production that needs to be done, and there is some planning and probably just working on being better in front of the camera and being a better speaker, and working on that. So I think the businesses that are working on that and working to improve are doing it right, and the ones that keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result are probably doing it a little bit wrong.
Yeah, and adding to that, I think just being relevant is probably one of the main things that you should consider in order to be successful or do it properly. Just because, as an example, when the debate was going on, I was seeing a lot of Facebook Lives about the live electoral college thing, and you would see the United States highlighted, different states as time went on. I also saw live versions of each debate, but ever since then they kind of just stopped because the debate is no longer a big thing. But a lot of businesses were talking about that for a while, and they were doing their Facebook Lives about that, and now it's kind of just come to a halt. So I think just finding something that's really big in everyone's mind and making sure you're talking about it and you want to be the first one to talk about it, as well as promoting it beforehand or afterwards, just to make sure you get those views. And
I like to think that we did that. We did the holiday themed Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Christmas season. All the segments were Christmas related, holiday themed, and so going back to newsjacking, just doing the best that you can to take advantage of some of the things going on, and then just incorporating your brand into it as best you can.
Yeah.
Cool. Any other questions from the Facebook stratosphere?
Eric also asks, what do you think causes businesses to be skeptical towards new media or social media?
Well, I personally think that it's not proven. New media, you never know if it's going to work or not. And then going hand in hand with that, it's the time investment and perhaps maybe some of the talent investment in being able to start doing something like a Facebook Live. So we've got this room here, we've got these microphones, this all took some resources and some setting up. So it's some of the fear there, I think, behind the preparation is going to have to go into it, and not knowing if it's going to pan out for you, if you're going to get a return on that investment.
Yeah, and I also think with Facebook Live, for me, I'm not a very social person, so being on video is kind of something that I've never really wanted to do.
Yeah.
But just thinking of something funny to push yourself and do those things that not everyone's doing. All of my friends on Facebook, out of the 400 of them, only 1 or 2 do Facebook Lives. So it's just going out there and doing something different that not everyone's on board with yet is going to put you out there, and it's going to make the platform more popular the more that you do it and join the rest of the community that is doing it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Being an early adopter is always good with new tech, especially if it pans out. So, get together with your team, your company, your confidants, and just say hey, should we do this? What do you guys think the positives, the negatives are? Do a little pro-con, and then try it out for a short amount of time. And I'd say I would do something at least 6 times before you decide whether you like it or not, whether it's a Facebook Live or a new sport or a new hobby. I think you have to give something a chance. You don't have to commit to it for the rest of your life, on that day. But if something new is coming out and you think that there's a chance or a potential that it could take off or do well for your business and your brand, then give it a try and just give yourself a limited time period and go for it.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nope.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that's going to about wrap it up for us here. I want to thank Nicole again for joining me, and also because she did this really great job on the Facebook Marathon Friday, and having someone like Nicole to be there and organize it ahead of time and keep things moving and facilitating the process of it is it just you can tell it adds like that extra level of just value to it, and it comes through in how it's produced. So thank you for joining me, and thank you to all of you for joining me, and we hope to see you next week on Think Tank Tuesday. I believe Paul will be back, and if not, it'll be a special mystery bag of who will be up here next. So thank you again, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Yes.